Hello, my name is Candace Hubbard, and this is my persuasive speech on racial injustice within the criminal system towards minorities. This is something that is facing my community very heavily these days, and it is directly affecting me because I am a woman of color and I also have a son who is a black young man who inquires to me daily about the injustice that he sees or things that are going on within our community. I feel like these things have been ignored for a while. I think it's an uncomfortable conversation for people who are not black to have, and it no longer needs to be ignored. It clearly is affecting not only our economy, but our communities. These are your neighbors, your brothers, the people that you go to church with. And I feel like if we're all one, nation, one community, that we need to unite together. So the American criminal justice system was initially created to validate law and order, serve justice, and protect the interests of the American people. But as time has gone on, I feel like that is questionable. When you see that there's people of color being arrested and killed for, simple laws or misdemeanors, as opposed to people who are creating bigger offenses that are non-colored, then we have a problem. I don't feel like it is equal as it's supposed to be. This is the land of the free, and we're not treating it as such. There's too much evidence of what's going on lately that's reflecting that people of color or just simply minorities are not being treated equally. A simple traffic stop should not turn into a death, and it's getting out of hand and no one's being persecuted for it simply because no one wants to be responsible for sending a white man to jail over a colored or a minority. And it's not fair at all in our community. So with that being said, I feel like there is a way where we can start to make change. It's not going to happen overnight, but again, it's something that needs to start somewhere. Our system and our country was literally built on the backs of slavery, and change is not going to start with just one protest or one voice overnight. It's something that has to be done unified. For example, I will say that schools, college education, we're still not being fair with that. There are many, many more white Americans that are privileged more than black students. For example, it starts literally at childhood. Before a child even gets to college, there is low income, low health rates, low educated parents. So it's a cycle that we need to break. And they're not given the chance to do so because it's a cycle and no one is willing to speak up for them. No one's able to do anything. So even if these kids want help, they don't have the proper tools or the fundamental values instilled in them to even know better, to even want to go for better. It's a cycle and we need to break it. And it's crazy to me to know that anyone will be opposed to unifying people. For example, blacks don't even have the same hiring rate or get the same pay as whites because of their nationality. It's ridiculous. And these are all scientific facts that are proven. I'm sorry, statistics that are proven. Anyone can find this evidence. And it's just heart-wrenching, the things that you see always. No one wants to have a conversation because it's uncomfortable. And I think that we need to change that. Whew, man. So, incarceration rates. It's also proven that there is a higher rate than any other race of blacks incarcerated. I feel like the criminal justice system is made to keep them down, for example, by raising, the bar of sentencing when it comes to certain things that blacks are more inclined to do with petty drugs. Like, for example, the sentencing for having marijuana is heavier than having, like, crack because they're known to be black things. 42% of children who are detained and 52% of those children whose cases are judicially waived to court are because they're white. So It's crazy. 32% of African American children make up the rate for all arrest. That's ridiculous. I feel like that African Americans and Hispanics are incarcerated at the same rate as whites. Prison and jail populations would decline by 40%. Those are major numbers. Let's see here. There's plenty of facts. For example, let's speak on the Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch's letter, if you guys are not aware, is literally how to control black slaves. And that right there, that message was instilled hundreds of years ago, and I still think it's relevant today. A lot of people are still treated as slaves, but without calling them slaves. I feel like the criminal justice system, and it states in the amendment that slavery is illegal unless found guilty by a law, and that's something I feel that needs to be changed. So I don't have much time to give you all the facts that I would love, but just know that simply being black in America should not make you any different than your neighbor. When we all get to heaven, God does not see color when seeing wrongs, and we all need to come together and unify as one nation, as one country, because we're all the same people in God's eyes. Thank you.